So what are our chances of going into Arrowhead and pulling out a win? I'll let you know, plus my 4 keys to the game. We're going to do that right now. Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and we are back again live on a Friday evening. We're going to be doing our Week 5 game preview against the Chiefs on Monday Night Football in Arrowhead Stadium. I'm going to give you my chances of winning. I'm going to give you my prediction, including my 4 keys to victory. I want to say hello to all of you out in chat. I am back on TikTok. We had a little issue last Friday. Said some things I probably shouldn't have, and I got in a little bit of trouble. How you doing, Captain Wrestling Bear? I love that name. How you doing tonight? I see you in here. I see a few others of you in here as well. Big Papa, how you doing? Let's see what we got here as far as YouTubers. They're starting to file in right now. Let's get this going. Let's get this going right now. All right. Anyway, you guys, I want to say hello to each and every one of you. Thank you for coming in. Also, if you are watching this on a replay instead of live here with us, you're going to miss out on some very interesting things. We'll get to that a little bit later after the game preview, but there's going to be something very new to the channel, very new to the program. I'm very excited about it. I can't wait to get to it, to be honest with you. So I want to say hello to each and every one of you in here right now, letting everybody file in. How you guys doing out there? Got to make sure I turn my phone down. I forgot about that. You know, people like to hook you up. So anyway, if you are new to this, I'm going to show you how we do this. This is our format here. As far as the program here is on this channel, I am simulcasting both on YouTube and TikTok right now, and this is how we do it. We have what we call the rundown. We have our topics that we talk about, and then at the end we always end with a question and answer segment. I want to get you guys involved, and I put a little plus here. Put a little plus here. We'll get into the plus and why I put that plus here. I see Earth Daughter, how you doing? I see some people filing into YouTube as well. We got some people in TikTok coming in and out, and some staying. So I do appreciate you guys staying. So let's get right down to the program.
I hear everyone say, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now, of course, I always like to start out with my champion count. That's you guys, subscribing and following on the platforms. Of course, I've said I've had some issues with YouTube. I'm going to work on some plan Bs with that as far as the channel goes on YouTube. But TikTok has been growing, even though I was recently got in a little trouble on my live stream last week. Still, the fan base is still growing. I see Israel here. Israel says hello. Great to see you live. Looking forward to see how the Raiders perform against Chiefs this Monday. And so am I, and I'm going to show you, of course, my 4 keys to the game. You're not new here. If anybody new here on either platform, my 4 keys to the game to win this game, 2 on offense, 2 on defense. I'm going to give my prediction as well. But again, I want to thank you guys for coming out, supporting the channel, and subscribing or liking. And if you do enjoy this, why not hit the thumbs up? It helps the algorithm on both platforms. Again, simulcasting on both YouTube and TikTok. I want to say hello to you guys as well. Hey, Dominique, what's up to you? So before we get to our game preview against the Chiefs, we always do a we always do a poll of the week here. This is the poll of the week, and I like the YouTube ones because you can add pictures now. And I said, what is the most important thing the Raiders need to do to win on Monday night? And I said, well, do we need to contain Patrick Mahomes? Do we need to cover Travis Kelce? Does Derek Carr need to play well, or does Josh McDaniels need to coach well? I wouldn't say overwhelmingly, but overall, it was containing Patrick Mahomes. And then I usually give my take on this. Hey, Lencho, I see you in here. Don't need no invitation. We are that Raider Nation. Mahomes needs to go down hard. Exactly. You're actually gonna hear that in about 20 seconds or so. But anyway, I usually give my take on this as well as far as the poll of the week, and all of them are good. I would think this is probably the most important one to me. He cannot get out-coached by Andy Reid. Andy Reid's a great coach. I think it flows down from there. If we don't do the things that we need to do right as far as the game strategy, doing stupid onside kicks, we're not going to have that room for error like we did against the Denver Broncos. Not against this team. This is a powerhouse team, and not as good on the defensive side as the Broncos, but way better on the offensive side, of course. So that said, let's get right to that and let's check out this Chiefs offense against our defense.
The other team's quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
Yeah, he must go down. He must go down hard. Oh, I see Hefe in the house. Yes, I figured you would come here, especially on this one. So our defensive matchup, of course. Now, I did this a little bit differently. Now, the final injury reports aren't out, of course. They come out on Saturday because we had the Monday night game. This is the latest and greatest as far as Friday reports go. Now, they did do a walkthrough of the Raiders side. I put these guys here in yellow because these guys are on the injury report. However, I think they might be playing. The only one I'm a little bit questionable about is Smith here at guard. I think the trio of wide receivers will play. A little bit dinged up. I think they'll play. Good news here, Denzel Perryman, he is on concussion protocol, but he did go through full walkthrough today. This is looking very encouraging. J.N. Brown, however, did not practice today. That's probably why we got Martinez, inside linebacker from the Giants, get a little bit more bolstering on the linebacking core. Of course, he was a former Giant, played with Patrick Graham in his system. I think that's why we picked that guy up, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We already have the Chiefs smack talk in here already from Hefe. This is going to be interesting. But let's get to our first key to the game, of course. Well, let's get to the injury report in a little bit more detail. First off, of course, like I said, he did not practice. The only other one is Foster Moreau. This is encouraging because also Hunter Renfrow missed 2 games on concussion protocol. Full practice. I think he's good to go. Of course, he's on the injury report. We got to take that into account. But I think especially with the extra day on Monday night, we're good to go. Let's take a look at the Chiefs side. Like I said, Trey Smith, limited practice. Everybody else was full practice. Creed took a personal day. I couldn't find anything detailed on that. Non-injury related, of course. I think he's going to play, but I just noted it there. The only one is Harrison Butker, of course. They missed him a couple weeks ago against the Colts. They had that Amendola guy. He didn't do too well, but last week they picked up a guy named Matthew Wright, 2 of 2 as far as field goals, 5 of 5 for extra points. I think they're probably good to go even if Butker does not play this week against us. Now let's get to the first key to the game. I see you guys in here in TikTok as well. How you guys doing? I want to acknowledge you as well. Shirley Schooling. Love those TikTok names. Psycho Jackal, I see you in here. Anyway, we're winning this Monday. Go Raiders. I love it. I love the attitude. We're going to get to the first key of the game. Of course, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. The offense flows through this guy. And this is what I came up with. Our goal should be at least 2 sacks, at least 5 quarterback hits. I'd like to see 1 turnover from him if it's a strip sack or an interception. And probably the biggest stat here is this 3rd down conversion rate. I think if we do the other ones, that's nice. But if we can get him less than 50% on 3rd down conversions, I think we're headed towards the right direction and winning this game. And I'll tell you why. The Indianapolis game, they were only 3 of 10 for 3rd down conversions. And the last time we won 2020 at Arrowhead, they were only 6 of 14, under 50%. Again, I think if we head in that right direction, This is one of the keys to the game, of course. We're not going to fully be able to stop this guy. He's all world, of course, but if we can slow him down and hit these vital stats, we've got a good chance of winning. Now, my second key to the game, you might think I'm going to talk about Travis Kelce. I'm not going to talk about Travis Kelce. I'm not going to talk about Travis Kelce. You know why? Because even whether they win or lose, I was looking at the stats. Kelce usually does pretty well anyway. And plus, if we can contain Mahomes, that's going to help out overall with the passing game. I got to go with this running game, and I'll tell you why. They're really kind of making this shift over to the running game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire came into this season. We talked about this in the Chiefs review in the offseason. He's felt the best he has health-wise ever since he's been with the team, the Chiefs. And they got Isaiah Pacheco. They're running the ball more. They ran it all over Tampa, which had a good run defense until the Chiefs ran all over them, almost 200 yards. They didn't get quite as many yards as we got last week against Denver. But I think this is what they want to do. They want to get a little bit more balanced. So the second key to the game is the running game here. And I'm looking at 85 rushing yards as our threshold and 5 rushing first downs. This is why. We held Denver Broncos as a team to 85 rushing yards. I think, to be honest with you, I think the Denver Broncos run offense is better than the Chiefs. They did do quite well last week, but overall, more than one sample size, one game. I think Denver has that. I think that's quite doable, especially with Perryman, who has been fully practicing. I was a little worried about the concussion protocol. This guy loves to sniff out the run and screen plays. This is vital. We have him to hit this goal. And then the 5 rushing first downs. I said that because you can look at various stats. When we beat them last time in Arrowhead Stadium, they only had 5 rushing first downs. When they played against the Colts and lost, they only had 6. When they played against the Chargers, and probably honestly, the Chargers should have won that game. Very close game. They only had 2. Last week they had 8. We can't let them run like crazy against us. So these are my 2 keys to the game on the offensive side, our defensive side. If you are enjoying this, of course, I got to encourage you to give this a thumbs up, like it, and also subscribe, hit the bell notification, especially if you are watching this on the replay. Does you no good because we're going to have a lot more interaction. I'm really excited about this coming up after this game preview. So, and then you'll be able to join us at halftime. You too, Faye, you can come here too. It's a 5:15 evening start, of course, Monday Night Football. So we'll be on about an hour and a half later, about 6:45. We're going to go over the first half stats. I'll give you my good, my bad, my ugly, like I normally do, and see how we're doing related to those keys to the game. So I encourage you to come out and join us.
And I hear everyone say it, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now, as far as our offense goes, up against this Chiefs defense, you can see the stats here. Number 1 against the run. They've been doing pretty well. They've done a real good job with this front 4, to be honest with you. Karlaftis, I talked about that when they drafted him. They can move Jones back inside where he belongs. Noddy's not too bad at all. No slouch. And then, of course, Frank Clark, stud on the edge. But, of course, I'm going to go with my first key to the game. Of course, it's going to be Derek Carr. He's running this offense. I think we're going to have to pass more against this team. I said last week we'd have to run more because they have a superior pass defense in the Denver Broncos. I think more so with the Chiefs, their run defense is good. Not just the front 4. I like Nick Bolton. I liked him in college at Missouri. Some people have him on the outside. I think he's a true middle linebacker. He would be very good in a 3-4. Very good tackler and run stuffer. It's going to be tough to run the ball. I think we still need to do it. We need to be balanced. Can't pass all the time. But this game on the offensive side, of course, is going to be on Derek Carr's shoulders. And I'm going to say this is what I'm looking at as far as stats. He probably needs to throw at least as far as the threshold, 280 passing yards. I'd like to see 3 touchdowns and only 1 turnover, whether that's a fumble or an interception max. I want to see about 110 QBR, and I want to see that 3rd down conversion rate at 50% or greater for us. And I'm saying this because when we do this, like when we did in 2020, he did a lot better. We only turned the ball over 2 times, 1 on him, 1 on somebody else with a fumble. When we got destroyed last year, We turned the ball over 5 times. Carr turned the ball over twice, a fumble and an interception. There were 3 other fumbles in the game. Of course, you can't turn the ball over 5 times and expect to win. We got destroyed. But as far as Carr goes, I think maybe 1 turnover we could allow on this offensive side overall. And if we can hit these numbers, especially this 3rd down conversion rate, again, I emphasize moving the chains. And like I said, Renfro, he's been fully practicing. I think he's going to be back with us. He's missed 2 games on the concussion protocol. We really need him in the slot. We need 3rd and Renfro to move those chains. And if we can do that, we get the ball longer, we got more opportunities to score, and we keep the ball away from this high-powered offense of the Chiefs. Now, my second key to the game. How you doing, Al's Ghost? I see you in here. Psycho Jackal says Mahomes is going to throw 2 interceptions. I hope so. So my second key to the game now. Last week I focused on Waller and Hollins, right? I'm going to go the other side here. Adams and Renfro are 2 studs. Now, L'Jarius Sneed, I think he's going to play. He was on the injury report for an ankle. He's not going to be 100%. It's not going to be Patrick Surtain against Adams. I think Sneed's not bad, but he's not. I don't think he's as good as Surtain. Plus, he's got that ankle injury. It's going to be hard for him to cut and turn, even when he's not 100%. So I'm looking at that. Of course, Renfro in the slot, 3rd and Renfro. So this is what I'm looking at. I want to see a combined 20 targets, 15 receptions, 150 plus receiving yards, and two touchdowns or more at least from these 2 guys. I don't think that's too much to ask for, especially in this matchup. Again, the Chiefs defense are a lot more run heavy. They've been 27th in pass. I think that can be exploited. Again, their top guy is not at 100%. It's time to exploit this and time to get Renfro back into this offense. Now, as far as my prediction goes, you can see it right here. I got the Chiefs winning this one in a close one, 37-34. I think it could go either way. It all depends on how the Raiders play, right? If we play right, we have a chance at winning this game, but it's going to be difficult. This is going to be probably the toughest game of the year for us, of course. It's at the Chiefs. They're a tough team. It's on Monday night. They're not going to want to lose to the Raiders in front of the world, of course. So I think the Chiefs are probably going to win this one, but I'm not going to give definitely 100%. I'll probably give us about maybe a 35% chance of winning this game. I think it could be rather close, but if we shoot ourselves in the foot, if we turn the ball over, we've been pretty good with penalties and not hurting ourselves with that. We got to continue that. We can't turn the ball over, and we need to have those opportunities to score when we get in the red zone. We need to score as many points as we can, and we would have a chance. I want to know what you have to say, especially if you're watching this on the replay. Put your comments in the comment section below. I want to see your score predictions here. Of course, I read every comment, especially after the fact, and I usually respond to those as well. So put those in here, both on TikTok and on YouTube. Let's see, TikTok and YouTube. I see Lencho here. Mahomes knows all about O-line issues, 31-9. I'm just catching up on the chat right now, so let's get to that question and answer segment right now. We'll get to that right now. And how you guys doing out there tonight? I see you out there. I'm going to catch up with the chat, and then I'm going to show what I was talking about as far as the plus goes. Let's see. Elker, Taylor, Fournette. Fournette's not that good anymore, Hefe. Come on. Psycho Jackal. Kelsey will be late because he had to go to the TMV. Lencho says Colts offensive line struggling a year against everyone. Chargers O-line hurt. Hurricane Ian played a part in the Bucks being crap. Maybe. I don't know about that. I think the Chiefs were on a mission in that game because they got thoroughly embarrassed in the Super Bowl. I picked the Chiefs in that game, kind of going away, and it really was. I know it was only a 10-point difference at the end, but the game wasn't even that close, to be honest with you. Josh Jacobs, brought to mess up your defensive line, says Lencho. I got to watch what I say. Again, last week I got hit on TikTok for getting a little too upset and probably saying some things I probably shouldn't have. So I got to kind of behave myself tonight. So I'm going to try to keep it as PG as possible. So if you hear me not using certain words, that's why. Oh, man. I had that fixed. I don't know why it's changing on me. Anyway, there we go. Let's see what you guys have here. 33-22 Chiefs, says Hefe. Of course he's going to say that. But hey, that's not a blowout, so he's giving us a little respect. Psycho Jackal says Derek Carr will get a running touchdown. That would be interesting. I just hope he doesn't fumble it. When he gets near the end zone, we've seen he likes to fumble the ball, to be honest with you. Israel says Raiders 31, Chiefs 28. I see you in there. Alsgo says on paper we should lose this game, but games aren't played on paper. Let's go. I think they're going to be up for this game. I really do. Like I said, I put that on my thumbnail. This is a moment of truth. Even if we lose this game, if we play this team close in Arrowhead, that's a huge statement, right? Let's be honest here. We could very well be 4-0 right now. We definitely let the Arizona game go, and we were close in the other two games. So we could be 4-0 right now. We really need this game. If we can pull this off, this would be unbelievable. We do have a chance. It's going to be tough. We're not going to be able to make the stupid mistakes like we did in the last game. That's for sure. Hefe says the ghost of Adams will be walking the plank. What? Who's going to cover Devontae Adams, Hefe? Sneed with that bummed ankle? What's he going to do? He likes to grab a lot. I've noticed that in some of the games. He gets a lot of PIs. He likes to grab. That's probably all he can do. And with that ankle, how's he going to turn? I mean, Devontae's a great route runner. I think they're in trouble with that. Adams could go off in this game. And then you got Renfro back in the slot. Who's going to cover him? You guys your corners aren't that good. You guys are going to have to get the card to stop this offense. Lencha says Chiefs hit. Let's see. Chiefs hit too much. Hit too much something. I don't want to say the word. Raiders win 48-28. I gotta watch what I say at least this time. I don't want to get hit 2 in a row here, especially on TikTok. Psycho Jackal says Hefe will buy us an expensive lunch and the order will be wrong, so now his day is ruined and we'll still have to eat his lunch because he paid for it. Where is this coming from? You guys are hilarious. So I'm just going to catch up with the chat, and then I want to show you my my QA here, or my Q&A plus. Remember I talked about the plus. Let's get to that. Heard Crosby might miss the game because of the birth of his first child. I have not heard that. I hope that is not the case. He's basically the only guy is consistently rushing the passer for us. Where's Chandler Jones again? Is he ever going to show up? He didn't show up against the Cardinals. I thought he'd want that. No, he didn't do it. No sacks yet. Sneed #1 for quarterback pressures. Yeah. Well, if you want to do cornerback blitzes, that's fine. Renfro will be in the flat and get the first down. That's cool. I don't know how they're covering. I know Carr's getting hit. I think that's going to be a lot short passing, and especially with Renfro back, it's huge for us. It's absolutely huge for us. Nice little security blanket. Waller's injured again. Frankly, I'm kind of tired of his nonsense. He played this last year, and he's hurt again. He got his extension. It's time to do something with it, you know. I'm going to start calling him Chandler Waller. Just call him Chandler Waller, you know. You pay him big money and they don't do jack, so the ghost of Chandler Jones is missing. Yeah, the ghost of Darren Waller is missing as well. Whitehair points Chandler Jones. He stole a lot of money. I love that Lencho. I will make it my pinned comment right now. I'm going to make that my pinned comment. Hang on. This thing's getting a little bit crazy, guys. Hang on. Replace pinned message. There we go. I'll make that my pinned comment right now, but let's get to what I want to talk about. There's a little surprise, a little bit of difference here. And we're going to do that right now. Here we go. What's that? Ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that? You know what that is? I've been messing with a little Chandler Wall. I've been messing with a little thing here. I'm going to put a link in the chat. If you guys want to come on and chat with me, you can have your camera on, you can have it off, have your microphone on. You hit that, and I can put you in right here. I'm going to put this in right now. Give me a second. I'm going to put it in TikTok as well. Put the link here. I know the link in TikTok, they don't allow you to put links in here because they're a pain in the rumpus. So, it won't let me do it again. Oh, TikTok's so wonderful. I'm your Huckleberry. So if you want to come on, if you guys want to come on, put this right here. How you guys doing? So basically you come on right here. This will be your screen. I can have multiple people come on if you guys want to talk. If you guys get rowdy, I can take you off too, Hefe. If you want to come on, you can come on right now. Use that link. You'll click in. Be sure to turn down the YouTube or your platform when you come in, so that way we don't have, let's see. I pasted it early on. If you want to scroll up for you TikTokers out there, I'm going to pin this comment here just so you guys have the link. Ooh, Hefe's on. Ooh. Give me a second, Hefe. Oh, and he's gone. Hefe was on. Hefe was on and then he was off. Come on in. Now, now this is kind of in beta testing, so to speak, right? We'll get to the poll in a minute. I got a lot of stuff going on right now. So if you want to come on, click that link. There's Hefe. Let's put him on. Hefe, speak, my son. Hefe. I kind of hear you. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? Good to have you on. Now, if anybody else wants to join us, oh, I heard him. Now, be sure. Now, there's a little bit of a delay now, guys. So, between talking. So, if you do want to come on, you have to turn down your volume on the YouTube feed on the live stream. If you're going to come on, you'll still be able to hear me. I'll be able to hear you once you get on. So, come on in. You click that link. You'll be queued in. It'll ask for a username, and I'll see you in here, and I'll drop you in right here in this screen. I couldn't hear. Hang on. You should be able to hear now. Come on back. You should be able to hear right now. Again, this is a little beta test right now, so something I want to do. I want to get a little bit more interactive with you guys. I'd love to hear a conversation with all you guys. Now I can have up to 6 people in here. Let me get on here. Do you hear me? Hefe, do you hear me? Let me. Oh, I got to get you in here. Hefe, do you hear me?
Yeah.
I hear you. How you doing? I see you in here. Now I'm in beta testing right now, so I'm gonna take this off. I want to see. You might not be able to hear me through here, so just let me know. Okay, can you still hear me? Oh, he cannot hear me. So, all right. Well, anyway,
I can hear you.
You can hear me now. Well, I'm gonna have to kind of get into the room. Can everybody hear me and hear Hefe? Put a 1 in the chat if you also hear Hefe. You should obviously hear me. Do you hear Hefe as well? Again, there's going to be a little bit delay. How you doing, Hefe? What's going on?
Good, man.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, feeling good, man. It's a lonely in first place. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking smack already, aren't you? It's going to be a tough game. Like I said, this is going to be the toughest game for our team. So what happened? What do you think happened to you guys against the Colts there? I mean, they got Gus Bradley there. You guys smoked Gus Bradley both times last year. One, we turned the ball over 5 times that one game, but 40 plus points anyway in the other game. What do you think happened to you guys against that Colts game? Was it just the kicker or something else?
And so it was special teams fumbling, and Indianapolis is one of them cursed places for us. So I don't know, but the craziest stuff happens up there.
Yeah. All right. So
But
what's your prediction again? 33-22.
322, it's gonna be a little chilly. Probably like about 55 nighttime by the time it gets, because it's about probably going probably about 7 8 o'clock.
Well,
So factor, we know car doesn't play good in the cold weather. It's not snowing, but so I don't know what the temperature is in Las Vegas, but it's a big, so you
well,
know
it's 75 in the dome in Las Vegas, so it doesn't really matter. But I hear your point about that. But still, it's not going to be snowing. It's too early in the season to worry about the weather. In my opinion, unless it was going to be raining. I'm wondering. You said we're only going to score 22 points. I mean, we
right.
scored 26 on the offense. We also got that defensive touchdown against the Broncos. In my opinion, the Broncos' defense overall is a little bit better than yours. So I'm not so sure. Are we just going to be turning the ball over? Plus, we're going to have Hunter Renfro back. We didn't have Renfro last week as a move the chain slot guy. So I'm not quite so sure we're only going to score 22 points unless we turn the ball over like crazy.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna. I think if if you start kicking field, once you start kicking, that might be a problem. So you got to score. You got city. It's gonna be super loud. Monday Night Footballs. I don't know what is it about, but it's rocking. Monday Night Footballs, where we broke the world's record stadium in the world, and just everybody's gonna be pumped up and all cylinders. So I just see it. You know, probably it's a divisional rivalry, but we'll see. I mean, I think we have a all around better defense than and definitely a better O line. So we're gonna be running the ball, chewing up clock, and behind the back passes by Mahomes.
That's the only thing I'm really worried about. To be honest with you, I'm not too worried about the running game. Again, the Raiders have been done pretty well this season against the run. I think they're ranked 10th. Uh, Pretty much stopped Denver in its tracks. Now the problem with that, it's Denver's one dimensional, of course. Uh, I said before Russell Wilson, that was a terrible trade. I think giving up 3 first round picks for a guy obviously past his prime. And you can see it. I mean, they couldn't do anything Thursday. They couldn't do anything against us. Really, in the passing game, he had one good drive in the fourth quarter against us, kind of shades of his old self. But other than
Hmm.
that, I'm not worried about it. Uh, Again, I think that with Perryman there, that's a big plus for us to stop the run. The guy's like a heat seeking missile. And then we got that other guy, Martinez, to kind of probably spell him. Another inside linebacker that knows Patrick Graham's system. So I'm pretty confident at stopping the run. I'm worried about getting to Mahomes and slowing him down. That's the huge thing, in my opinion, we got to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a Raider killer, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just that it's just hard to handle. It's definitely pick your poison. So you're gonna have you want and definitely sack him. 3, 4, 5 times. You know what I mean? If you want to really make some damage, and so it has to be pressure all the day if Raiders want. But I know one thing: Chris Stone Cold Jones, he gets. I don't know what we. That's that's one thing you're gonna. I can promise you that. That's one thing we want. But yeah, man, I just want to wish you good luck, and say go Chiefs.
Well, thank you for that. And yeah, I'm sure you'll be here. You're going to be here for halftime. So I will be on about 6:45, about an hour and a half into the game. The game starts at 5:15 Pacific. So I will be on for the halftime show. Maybe we'll get another Grossi posse. I think the last time we played the Chiefs, I believe it was
Oh
on
yeah.
Sunday Night Football, and all those Grossi guys came in and just kind of bombed the whole chat. It was crazy. Couldn't
Oh right on.
couldn't ban them fast enough, and it was like, oh, they're doing you a favor. No, you're doing yourself a favor by picking on smaller channels. You weren't really doing me a favor. You're coming in here and disrupting things, especially when they have
You're
10 or
right.
15 minutes. So,
Right. Yeah. Let me say hi to all my favorite fans, Lencho. How you guys doing today? And Psychos, baby. Don't worry, bud, because we only got 10 more years of Patrick Mahomes.
you know,
We see a lot
Hefe,
of them.
you are a unique troll as far as I've seen you in other chats. I've seen you on the Raiders live streams when they do pressers. I see you in there stirring up the trouble. I'm trying to be PG here, of course, because I got a little trouble last week on TikTok. They put me in the pokey for a week, so I'm back, but I want to kind of behave myself. I want to do it 2 times in a row. So yeah, I do appreciate you though. I do invite you to come out at halftime, and of course on Tuesday we'll do the full game review, win or lose. And yeah, nice to have you here. I appreciate you coming here. So if you guys have any questions for Hefe in the chat, or if you want to, use that link. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I put it as a pinned comment. So you click on that link, and you can come on here too. I can get up to 6 people in the chat. So there's room for 4 others if you want to, or you can just put something in the chat box here on YouTube. Same
No
thing for
doubt.
you
Yeah.
TikTokers. I put that on. That's the first post. Scroll up. For some reason, it won't let me paste it again. And another thing with TikTok, the links, it's just a HTTP. You can't click on it. In TikTok, you got to copy and paste it. Uh, Whatever. But anyway,
Right.
you guys have any questions for Hefe out there? Let's see. And of course, we got to wait a second because there's about a 10 to 20-second delay. I think TikTok's even longer, to be honest with you, when you're doing live streams and getting responses back in chat. So, but when you're talking face to face, if 2 people are in here, then it's much quicker.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. So
So
it's.
how do you like uh, Derek Carr's? Is he coming along, or is what's going on with him?
I think Derek is what he is. He's been in the league 9 years. I think there's times where he could play very well, and there's other times where it's like he gets spooked and he's like running for his life, and not in a good way. Now, last week against Denver, he ran the ball 7 times. I said he needs to run the ball 3 or 4 times a game to keep the defenses honest. He ran 7 times, 40 yards. It's exactly what he needed to do, including a couple of first downs, one out of bounds, and a couple one up the middle. So I like that kind of Derek Carr. I don't like the happy feet in the pocket Derek Carr. If you don't have it, go ahead and run. It's going to be tough against the Chiefs because, again, I think they're better in the front seven than the Denver Broncos were. This is going to be a different kind of a scheme to go against. I think we need to lean heavy on Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow to win this game. Okay, Israel says, Hefe, do you enjoy entering Raiders chat rooms more than the Chiefs?
I like arguing. I don't know what it is. I've been arguing. I've been arguing with Raiders fans, so uh, you know, I don't know, man. I just go. I hear the Chiefs fans every day, you know, so getting a little, rowdy and just have a little fun. So it's all fun. I love football.
Yeah.
Come, fo- football season. That's what I listen to. I just love it.
Oh, we got another comment for you. Jeff says, Hefe, why don't you start your own channel for your favorite team, the Raiders? Oh, yeah, you're a closet Raider fan, but you do claim you love the Chiefs. I'm not going to say that word. I mean the Chiefs. Haha, just kidding. Oh, Jeff, like I said, I think he's just a troll. I've seen him on YouTube, other content creators' channels, stirring up the trouble. I'm not going to say the other word. Got to be PG today at least. And then going, like I said, being on the Raiders official channel when they do live streams, and I've seen him in there as well doing that. A lot of people, to me, I choose not to stream during the full games because I can't show the games. Plus, there's a delay. I mean, it's nice to talk, but it'd probably be better after the fact unless you can actually watch the games together, and not have that delay. If I could actually show the stream, I think that'd be more advantageous. But I've seen a few of those. I'll pop in here and there to those, and I see you in there just kind of trolling everybody. So how often do you get banned from other Raider channels? What's your favorite channel to troll, Hefe?
I've probably been to 10 Raiders channels. Seriously. But I just like the Raiders got some good content creators. I guess very smart and content creating. It's a skill in football. Is if you could talk it for an hour or two, you know what I mean, each week. Hey, that's a skill. I can't do that. You know what I mean. I love football, but I can't do that. So I like the Raider Ben. I like his channel. Channels that just talking. You know what I mean, not like what do they call the social networks and stuff like that. I just like the you know what I mean. So
Okay. I know you get banned a lot, or a few times I've seen you. You really rile them up. So I see Al's Ghost in here. Go ahead. How you doing?
How's it going, Raider champion? Can you hear me?
Hey, loud and clear, loud and clear. How you doing tonight?
Excellent. How you doing, Hefe?
good. How you doing now?
I'm doing all right.
Are you
Just,
are you
what
rolling in
was
your
that?
grave, Al? What's going on?
Uh, not yet. The season's too early for that.
How's your good running the team, or are you gonna haunt him for?
I think we'll keep on haunting him until we get a Super Bowl, hopefully in the next few years or so. But Raider champion, I want to make a few points regarding the game and what I think is important, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
So three things just right off the top of my head. Studying the Colts Chiefs game, very important fact. The Colts pressured Mahomes on 38% of dropbacks. Pressure is going to be at a prime for this game. If we could get pressure with 3 or 4 players and drop the 8 to 7 players into coverage, I think that's a key right there. Number two, and I think I've expressed this via chat to Raider Champion, but some of our coaching, it gets a little too cute at times. We have some dumb-headed coaching decisions at times. Just off the top of my head, the onside kick in the last game, it seems like Patrick Graham on the defensive side, when we get into 3rd and long and obvious passing situations, he decides to drop Crosby or Chandler Jones, or sometimes both of them, into coverage. So we got to avoid that. And then last but not least, we got to run the ball. We got to play keep away. I think there's like a 25% chance of rain. So if it gets pretty muddy out there and rainy, we got to run Jacobs, maybe share some carries with Zamir White, maybe get Abdullah in some passing situations. But I think those three things there, getting pressure with 3 or 4 players, avoiding dumb-headed coaching, and running the ball, that gives us a chance. On paper, as I mentioned, the Chiefs are favored in this game. They should be. They're playing at home. They're rolling. They have Andy Reid. They have Patrick Mahomes. They have consistency in the organization, so they should be favored. And on paper, they should win. But again, games aren't won on paper.
That's right. And I agree with you with most of that. However, with the Colts game, they only ended up getting 1 sack, and they did get 5 hits on him. There was more pressure on him. I think we just need to bring it home. Frankly, it can't just be a one-man gang out there with Max Crosby. If Malcolm Kuntz needs to play more, especially I like him. I've seen him more in the third down role. I think with his size, I'm a little concerned with him stopping the run. But in third and mid, third and long situations, I wouldn't mind getting him in there more often than they actually do. Some of the plays they have all three. I saw Crosby, Jones, and Kuntz in there as well. As far as running the ball, it's gonna be a little tough treading. It's gonna be a tough matchup for us as far as running the ball. I think we still can. I don't think we're going to get 200 plus rushing yards, 212 rushing yards like we did last week against Denver. But we do have to be balanced. We have to keep them honest. That's something we didn't really do in the Charger game, and that's one of the reasons why we lost. Of course, the 3 interceptions, 3 turnovers to no turnovers. But a little bit more balanced. But I think we need to pass the ball more. I think we need to exploit Snead and that ankle injury. Against Devontae. I think Hunter Renfrow coming back, taking an extra week from that concussion protocol, probably due to the whole Tua thing, to be honest with you. But whatever, we need him now. This is a huge game for us, and he can move the sticks for us. So while I do think we need to run the ball, I think passing is going to be paramount in this game, and those third down conversions. As far as the boneheaded plays, again, it just seems like McDaniel's trying to show that he's the smartest guy in the room again, and he's got to quit doing that. If we're up 10-7, we can't onside kick against the Chiefs. They're going to get a touchdown with that. I mean, with Denver, we stopped them. They got a field goal, and then when we got the ball back, it was 3 passes and a punt. It's like we were keeping them in the game. And like I said, I think Denver, we should have probably scored at least 40 points against them. That offense is anemic. Once we could run the ball, they kind of folded up, and it just kind of showed on a short week. They're at home and they couldn't get anything done. Russell Wilson throwing up like I put a post out. It was like a punt. That one interception, just threw it up for grabs. Why is he doing that? Either take the sack or throw it away or something. It's like this is a completely different team. And it's going to be a tough hill to climb.
Absolutely. I agree, champion. Go ahead, Hefe.
Oh, I was going to say, I think McDaniels has played Andy Reid for years. I would say over 10 years. You know what I mean? So you think you would know his, would definitely, I know he's an offense coordinator, but, he's a coordinator, study offensive coordinators, you know what I mean? So, and he would know a little bit of a lot more of Andy Reid as other throughout the years. I mean, so that I'll give that a little bit.
Yeah,
I
mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I think McDaniels admires Reid for sure for his play calling and his creativity and all that. But just to sort of harp on one of my earlier points, I really do think running the ball is going to be the key. You got to play keep away from these guys. You got to dominate the clock. And if there's something that McDaniel should have figured out after the last game is we're a smash mouth football team. I mean, this is how Mayock and Gruden built this thing. And we got to adopt that identity. I know we have Devontae Adams. We have Hunter Renfrow. We have Darren Waller. Mac Hollins has come to the fore as well. But this is a smash mouth football team. I mean, we're a better team when we're running the ball, when we're balanced. And frankly, when we're a little bit more tilting towards running the ball, and that's what we need to do, we need to take advantage of the fact that we have some light boxes because these teams are doubling Waller, they're doubling Devontae Adams, sometimes they're doubling Renfrow. And we need to take advantage of those light boxes, and we need to play keep away, especially when we're playing against dangerous opposition like the Chiefs. And so I just couldn't, sort of emphasize enough, I think, the importance of the running game here. running the ball is akin it's akin to those body blows in boxing. Once you get into the third and fourth quarter, you start wearing down that defensive line, and those 3 4 yard runs all of a sudden become 6 7 8 yard runs, and then that's when you could really start gashing a team like the Chiefs. But yeah, I'm sort of old school though, champion. I think these games are won in the trenches, especially these division games. So I'd just be resting up Jacobs from here until Monday night, and just having that guy lay up in bed so he has fresh legs to go.
Yeah. But also, I mean, we got to get Zamir White involved. Again, I mentioned that last week. I'm not so sure why he isn't getting more opportunities. They're starting to put him in a little bit, but I mean, we didn't extend Josh Jacobs. This is likely going to be his last season. He'll probably go elsewhere in free agency. We moved up in the fourth round to get Zamir White, bruising inside kind of running back, but we're not really using him. I'm a little worried that we're going to use Jacobs up too much early. I don't think he's going to be able to last a full season. I talked about this. We need to get Zamir White more involved in this. And like you said, I talked about that, a third quarter running back where you can pound the ball. But still, I don't think we're going to get the same kind of success that we did against Denver. So we're not going to be able to rely on that as much. Of course, we need to be a little bit more balanced, but I'm still with the short passing game. Even screens to like Bolden, that would be advantageous in my opinion, or even Jacobs. But I would like to see Zamir White in the game a lot more, running the ball between the tackles.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I think I'd like to see a little bit more of him, but I think we're in a situation where Jacobs has the hot hand, and you sort of ride the hot hand. And I understand it's a long season, especially with the added game with 17 games now on the calendar. But we're at 1-3, and we can't put Jacobs on a pitch count this early in the season. He needs to run. We need to get the most out of him right now so we could stack up these wins, and so he could give us a chance in these very, very difficult games. So
Yeah.
I think you sort of just ride him until the wheels fall off.
Well, yeah, that's another thing you say. Well, it's his last year here, so just run him. Plus, you also have the bye week next week after this, so you're gonna have an extra week to rest. Yeah, they should go all out. I still don't think that. I still think we need to balance the attack more than we did in Denver, though. I think
Right. Yeah,
because
definitely like a balanced attack is helpful. Go ahead.
yeah, because Denver's secondary is much more superior than the Chiefs. Chiefs can be exploited there, and we need to take advantage of it. We're a smash mouth football team, but then we sent 2 picks, and we have to pay a boatload of money to Devontae Adams. We're going to need to use him, and Renfro's back. I would be much more worried if Renfro and Perryman were not in this game, because they're really key, in my opinion, to move the chains and to stop their running game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with that, champion. I was also going to add, sometimes a lot of these players that we have, or just players in general on any football team, they have an effect that doesn't necessarily reflect their impact on the stat sheet. So I think Chandler Jones is an example of that. I've gone back and watched some of the video. He does, set a great edge. He does generate pressure. He plays pretty selflessly to allow other players to generate pressure and get sacks. Um, I think there's Devontae Adams, even in the 2 games. I think it was the Arizona and Tennessee game where he had 20, 30 yards, something that was, super, super small in the stat sheet. The dude's drawing double teams, and that helps open up the run game. It helps open up opportunities for other players in the pass game. So sometimes we get so tied up as fans in the stats, in the sacks, and the yardage, and the touchdowns on some of these players, and we sometimes fail to appreciate the impact that they have. So I'm saying that because we have Devontae Adams, and I agree with you, we should use him. But Devontae Adams drawing bracket coverage and drawing double teams and sometimes triple teams, that's an impact on the team that doesn't necessarily reflect on yardage.
Mm-hmm.
But I think coaches see that and appreciate that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And as far as Chandler Jones goes, I mean, Let's be honest. We were hearing that from Cleve Farrell. Oh yeah, it's not on the stat sheet. He can set a good edge, and okay, then why did we go out and pay big money to Chandler Jones? I mean, this is a double-digit sack guy every year, and now no sacks in 4 games. So I agree with what you're saying, but like I said, there has to be more pressure on that side. And again, we're still about 18 million under the cap. Why didn't we go out and get some help interior? I mean, Bilal Nichols was supposed to be there. He's providing some, but it's just not enough. I mean, it just kind of feels that we're just kind of feeling our way through. This new regime I hate to say it, but are we talented enough to challenge the Chiefs and the Bills and those types of teams in the playoffs and be a Super Bowl contender? I think we're a playoff team, but are we really a Super Bowl contender when we have a thin defensive tackle, thin at cornerback, still questions on the offensive line, especially at right tackle, not really, to me, addressed. We're still subbing people in and out. I know some of the pundits say, well, that's the Belichick way. They would, treat the September as like a preseason and they sub people in and out. But like you said, we're 1-3 now. And now we got to face an uphill battle against the Chiefs in their place. And, we can't, we've given away more games than maybe we did last season already in those 3. I mean, we could very well have been 4-0. There were a couple of games like the Giants game we probably should have played a little bit better. And as far as Devontae in the Arizona game, I don't blame him for that, especially in the second half. The problem was Derek Carr. He was highly inaccurate in there. Plus the play calling from McDaniels every time was a pass. We did not run the ball nearly enough in the second half. We had a 20-0 lead. It's pathetic. And like I said, Carr's accuracy just went into the dumper in the second half. So I do agree with you, though. We're going to have to, I think we're going to have to run the ball more than we did the first 3 games, but less than we did against Denver.
Yeah, I guess we'll. Excuse me. I think we'll figure out which formula works, champion. I do think that running the ball is the key, and I would that's my bias. That's my own personal bias. But we'll see which formula, wins the day on Monday night. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I think dropping those 3 games, especially that Arizona game, that Tennessee game, it's going to haunt us. I mean, it's going to haunt us because those games were very, very winnable. I mean, I started making lunch in the Arizona game, and was just listening to the game in the background, and all of a sudden, it was close again, and I reminded myself why I'm a Raiders fan. So it's a tough situation to be in, but we just got to brave ourselves through it, get through this initial slog of games. It's a tough section of our schedule, these first 5 games. And the hope is that you walk out of this 2-3, come back after the bye with a more relaxed schedule and start stacking some wins. But, even going 1-4, it's tough to come back from that. And it's tough to even contemplate being a playoff team. And it hurts me as a Raiders fan saying that. But 1-4 is tough to come back after the bye with any sense of momentum to then pursue a playoff run, and much less a Super Bowl run. So this game is crucial on Monday for the Raiders. If McDaniels and the rest of the coaching staff haven't made this clear enough to the players, this is your Super Bowl. If you could start stacking wins against division rivals, you lost against the Chargers. Hopefully we split with them later in the season, but you beat the Donkeys, and now you have the Chiefs and you beat the Chiefs. At least now you're riding the ship as it pertains to the specific division, right? To the AFC West. You're now stacking wins against 2 of the 3 teams with the goal of hopefully sweeping Denver and the Chiefs later on in the season and splitting with the Chargers. So Monday is the Raiders Super Bowl, and I hope McDaniels makes this clear to the team.
Oh, well put. You're right. I mean, this is huge. I was saying in that Denver game, that was the must win. I think if we lost that game, McDaniels might get fired in the bye week for sure. But uh, again, I mean, I want to see their best effort. I mean, we saw it last season. All the turmoil that happened with Gruden and Ruggs, and they came back and they won 4 games in a row, and they willed themselves into the playoffs. Let's be honest here. Things were a mess, and this is where this team needs to find the grit and the will to play against this team again. One of the best teams in the league, perennial contender, 8-time AFC West champion. I think they've been to the AFC Championship game 4 years in a row, is it? Or 3 years in a row. So absolute contender. And, of course, a division rival on Monday night in front of the whole world. Everybody's going to be watching it. So, and we're going to go into a bye week. What are we as a team going to be looking at, reflectively once we go into the bye week? If we play that crap, it's going to be a long 2 weeks. This could be it for the whole season. I mean, even if we play well and lose a close game, you can take something from that. But if we fall flat on our face and pull like a 48-9 like we did last year, all bets are off.
No, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think getting a win out of this obviously is the ideal goal. But even playing a close game offers the team some motivation to continue improving and continue to build off of a great showing against a Super Bowl contending team. But McDaniels or whoever are the leaders in that locker room need to emphasize, like, hey, on Monday night, this is our Super Bowl. Because we get a bye after this. Then after that, we have the Texans and the Saints, which on paper, again, games aren't played on paper, but they should be pretty winnable games. You start riding the ship at that point. You could get on a little winning streak, and hopefully Allegiant isn't as orange as it was last week.
Well, yeah, yeah. We get. Denver fans travel well too, and it's not really that far away. But yeah, I agree. Again, it's gonna be a tough hill to climb. I mean, like I put in the thumbnail, it's a moment of truth for this team. Win or lose, it's a moment of truth. It's a moment of truth for McDaniels. It's a moment of truth for Derek Carr. Chandler Jones. I mean, it is what it is.
This team is talented enough. Sorry, champion. I was just going to say this team is talented enough to compete with anybody, and I think they need to believe that, especially on the offensive side of the ball. This team is loaded. Say what you can about Derek Carr, but Derek Carr is a solid quarterback. He's a solid quarterback, and I think context is everything. The guy comes into the league in 2014. We're 0-10 before we win against the Chiefs, by the way, on a Thursday night football game. That's when Latavius Murray ran all over the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes through so much turmoil, right? Dennis Allen gets fired. You get Jack Del Rio. He gets fired. John Gruden comes, and the emos happen. Now you have Josh McDaniels. It's a tough situation. And I'm not even naming all the offensive coordinators. Greg Olson under Dennis Allen. Then you have Bill Musgrave. Then Todd Downing. John Gruden comes in next.
With
then
Olsen
Josh McDaniels.
Again.
Yeah, and then Olsen again. I mean, just so many systems that the guy had to be a part of to learn, and all the different languages that he has to learn as a quarterback, because that's one thing that fans, I think, don't realize. When you're learning a new system, you're learning a whole new terminology, a whole new language. And not to take anything away from Mahomes, I think Mahomes is a generational talent. Great quarterback, great leader. But the guy came into a playoff contending team, actually a playoff team, with Alex Smith at quarterback. He sits out the first year to learn from Alex Smith, and he gets taught by a quarterback guru, Andy Reid. And he's had the same coaching staff essentially for his entire career. That kind of consistency you cannot buy. That kind of consistency Derek Carr has never had. I'm not making excuses for Derek Carr. I'm just saying context matters. And when we're assessing and evaluating players down the road, We should take note of that.
And he had
I
Travis
mean,
Kelsey too
exactly.
from the
Let's
beginning.
even yeah, exactly. Just even take note of the talent level that Derek Carr has had. The best quarterback, or I should say, wide receiver duo that he's had in his career was Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree. John Gruden comes in and ships off Amari Cooper after saying that Amari Cooper was going to be the focal point of the offense.
Hmm.
Then he doesn't renew Michael Crabtree's career, so he could bring in what's the wide receiver, Jordy Nelson, for a year.
Yeah, those
Bring that.
I think those are the biggest mistakes getting rid of um, Cooper. I really do. I
Yeah, I
think
mean
that was he those.
this entire go ahead, Hefe. I'll let you speak.
Oh no, I just said he took away. So now the Raiders sort of were like the Clippers of the NFL. Got a lot of talent, but they just can't get it together now. But yeah, the Derek Carr's weapons. So
Yeah, the guys hardly
that
had
hurt him.
yeah, the guys hardly had weapons, and the organization. Trust me, Raider champion. I was a season ticket holder in Oakland. I was out there every Sunday. I had the face paint on and the spikes, and it was a great time. And I'm a diehard Raider fan, but I also got to take a step back and evaluate my organization, if I could say that, even though I'm not technically a part of it.
Hmm.
There's just been mismanagement from the top down.
Yeah, I
I
was.
mean, I don't
Go ahead. Keep going.
go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah, the just what I wanted to say real quick, and I don't want us to take us down a rabbit hole, but even Mark Davis's decision to let go of Rich Bisaccia last year, the fact that he was able to rally the troops and make what I think is a Herculean effort to get us into the playoffs and get within a play of beating the Bengals in Cincinnati, to then make the decision to go ahead and fire this guy is absolutely baffling. And I don't think anyone's
Agreed.
actually taken the step back to actually criticize Mark Davis for that decision. We all got super excited because we thought we were bringing Patriots out to Las Vegas. Fans were clamoring all over Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And once we got Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones, we were over the moon. But there's something to be said about consistency.
Hmm.
There's something to be said about keeping staff that are successful. And we didn't do that with Bisaccia.
Yeah.
The counter example,
Okay.
the classic counter example to the Raiders is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Since 1969, they've had 3 head coaches. I'll let you go, champion.
Oh
Go
yeah.
for it.
Chuck Noll. And I can't think of the guy's name after him. Yeah.
Power.
Yeah. Bill Cowher. Uh,
Yeah, Bill Cowher,
yeah.
and now you have Tomlin.
Yeah. Mike
And
Tomlin. But yeah. I mean, I was here in the off season. I said we did Bisaccia wrong. If we wanted to make the decision that he wasn't the head coach, why not keep him on the staff as a special teams guy? Give him a raise, give him a little money. I mean, this is something Al would have done, and I've mentioned this a lot of times with Mark Davis. I call him Tommy Boy, like the movie. You know, Al Davis knew his stuff. This guy doesn't know anything about football. He inherited this team, and he's running it like Tommy Boy, but he doesn't want to put in the time and effort. You know, this whole thing with Jack Del Rio. To be honest with you, we were 12-4 that year, but we had a lot of good bounces that year. A lot of good things happened to us, and then we kind of hit reality a little bit. We didn't get those bounces the next year. He panicked, and then gave a boatload of, I won't say the word, I want to give a load of money and guarantee $10 million, $100 million, 10-year, $100 million deal to Gruden for a guy who hasn't been in the league in a while, an announcer, and then they get rid of Reggie McKenzie. I wasn't a huge fan of McKenzie, but compared to the picks of Gruden and Mayock, he looked like GM of the year, to be honest with you. I mean, we could rag on DJ Hayden and some of the other picks that he made, but he did get Mack and Carr for us. And then he brought in Mike Mayock as the general manager, who was really just his little boy, I guess, to analyze players. To be honest with you, he wasn't a true general manager. and and then we brought in Antonio Brown and that debacle, and Brown, allegedly calling Mayock certain names. I'm not going to say on here because I don't want to get rigged or get kicked out of TikTok again. And that was accepted. And Gruden still wanted to keep him, They finally got rid of him. And you could kind of see the problems. And you could see the problems with the way Gruden coached the team in the second halves of the games, the second half of the season. Everything kind of fell apart because everybody could figure him out. And I think that was the problem with him. And to your point with Derek Carr, I've said he's anywhere from the 6th best to the 14th best quarterback in the league, which to me is fair. I don't think he's elite, but I don't think he sucks. My problem with him is there are times where he gets frazzled, it looks like. And honestly, ever since Trent Cole broke his leg, something's gone on. It took about a year or so to get him away from that, but I don't know if it's still something with that or what, but there's times where he just gets happy feet and just throws the ball away. There's times where it's like 4th and goal, he threw the ball away and out of the end zone. Who cares if you throw an interception at that point? If you're going for it on 4th down, it's just kind of situational things. Now, last week he played well. He didn't look scared out there. He ran the ball 7 times. He was running for first downs. That's the kind of guy we need consistently. And if the Chiefs want to do that and blitz and all that, that's what he needs to do. And Joey Bosa said that last year where he's soft. He was acting soft. I mean, it was the truth. I mean, Joey Bosa's I was going to say the word a-hole. I think I can get away with that.
Yeah, I know what you were going to say.
But he was telling the truth. He was acting like that. He was acting scared. He's huddled up. He would go down in a collapse into a sack instead of trying to run or trying to do something. And then you got Mahomes. He thinks he's a second baseman out there throwing it behind his back, sidearm, this and that, trying to do whatever he can do to get the team their win. So Derek Carr is not elite. I think he's good enough to take us to a Super Bowl, but he has to play a little bit more consistently.
So champion, quick comments on that. I think my reaction when it comes to assessing quarterback play, I ask myself this question: can you win a Super Bowl with this guy? And I have to say yes. When you look at Matt Stafford winning the Super Bowl last year with the LA Rams, I don't think Matt Stafford exists on another planet when it comes to skill level, when it comes to reading defenses, throwing the ball, etc. I would actually put Matt Stafford and Derek Carr on pretty much the same plane.
Mm-hmm. And Stafford had Megatron for a while too, early in his career also.
I think Hefe wanted to get in on this.
Go ahead, Hefe.
Same thing. Yeah, I think if you put Derek Carr on the Rams team, yeah, that'd be something for. You know what I mean? But that everything has to be perfect. Derek top 5 O-line during his last playoff season. So I said, he has to have great defense and depth.
Yeah, and I would actually go so far as to say this, Hefe and champion. It's not that Derek Carr needs all of these things. What is it that he doesn't need? I'll tell you what he doesn't need. He doesn't need all of this lack of consistency, all of this organizational turmoil. We fail to recognize that the best offensive coordinator that Derek Carr ever had was Bill Musgrave. And Jack Del Rio fired him because Todd Downing was the new shiny thing on the block, and he thought he was going to lose him. So he elevated Todd Downing, who did an awful job in 2017 calling the plays. To your point, champion, Al Davis would have said, no, I'm keeping Bill Musgrave. I just saw what he did in 2016 with Derek Carr. I'm going to keep him here so he could develop him and he could have one voice when it comes to calling the plays. Mm-hmm. The inconsistency that this guy has dealt with, and I'm not even speaking about last year. That's a 30 for 30 in the making. Like ESPN should buy the rights already for that 30 for 30 so they could make that documentary. Losing Ruggs, losing your head coach, all of the turmoil, the receiving core that Derek Carr had towards the end of that year was no disrespect to Zay Jones because he got paid by the Jacksonville Jaguars, but it was laughable.
Mm-hmm.
And if Derek Carr is so bad of a quarterback, how is it that he got Nelson Aguilar paid and Zay Jones paid?
Mm-hmm.
Only the
How's
good
Zay
quarterback.
Jones-
Only
he
good
doing?
quarterbacks get receivers paid.
Mm-hmm. Aguilar got $11 million from the Patriots. It wasn't worth that.
He got him paid,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that that's a testament to Derek Carr's skill.
You're right. You're right. I think, like I said,
Zay Jones.
Go ahead.
I said, is Zay Jones having a good year this year? Hello?
I haven't been keeping up with him.
Hello?
I think. Do you hear me?
Let me check. I think he's at. Yeah, I mean it's pretty solid. He's got 173 yards, just one touchdown, but it looks like he's averaging around 70 yards per game, something like that.
I think the big loss was Crabtree though, because he was kind of his red zone.
He was the red zone guy, yeah. He was the red zone guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw this, champion. They asked Amari Cooper on a talk show. I forget which one. It was a podcast. Who his favorite teammate has been, and he mentioned Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
I think this guy's like leadership skills are another level.
Mm-hmm.
Even the way he handled those situations with Ruggs and Gruden,
mm-hmm.
coming out at those press conferences. I showed those to my little brother and said, hey, this is how a leader acts. This is how a leader rallies the troops. And you got that team together and went on a playoff run. And sure, it was short-lived, but that was pretty remarkable to me.
Well, short-lived. I mean, it went down to the wire. I mean, he tried to
went down to the wire, yeah.
And that whole blowing the whistle nonsense at the half, that basically that gave Cincinnati 4 points. Let's say what it is. The guy blew the whistle. They stopped playing. They got a touchdown. That should have been a field goal right there, or a do-over
sure.
at least.
That last play, by the way, still bugs me. I can't believe they threw the ball short of the end zone, though. It was towards Zay Jones.
And what was Waller doing on that play? Have you looked at that play, like 11 on 11?
I did on the all 22. I just don't think that he got the play call. He did not. I don't think he got the play call. It was all moving so fast, and he just couldn't get the route together.
Yeah.
He didn't know which one to run.
Anyways.
But yeah, we gave the Bengals all they could handle in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah. I mean, the team played like it was on a mission. It needs to find that against the Chiefs this week. I mean, that's what's going to take. Another thing I've noticed with this play calling, and one of the announcers last week mentioned that they talked to Devontae Adams about the playbook of McDaniels, and he said it's like reading Mandarin. I mean, it's so complex, I guess. And there was, I even mentioned this last week, I think during the game review, where Colton Miller got an ineligible downfield. It looked like he believed it was going to be a screenplay. He just kept going down there to block somebody, and it wasn't. And it's like I'm wondering if McDaniels is too smart for himself. Why not ease people into this? You know, again, we did not have one single down in the preseason with our starters. And we're treating these early games like preseason. We can't do it. They count. And now we're 1-3. Again, it looks like McDaniels finally, I don't want to go down that road. That's what got me in trouble. I called him a certain name, but finally got his head out of his you-know-what and started to run the ball more, especially against a Denver team that cannot stop the run. The middle there is a joke. It's kind of, honestly, it's kind of like the Chargers. They've been trying to fill the middle of that defensive tackle position, and they haven't been able to do it. And I think that's what we should have done in week 1. I think we would have won that game going away. We were close. We lost the turnover battle 3-0, and we were still in that game in week 1. So, and
yeah, it's pretty amazing that we're still in that game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, champion. I think that there's this misconception in football that just because something is complicated, that means that it's good. So if I'm running a complicated offense, that means it's going to be effective, and I don't think anything could be further from the truth. When you're out there on the field, you're trying to play fast, and when you have to think so much, I think these players just hesitate. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know which routes to run if they're on offense, and if they're on defense, they don't know if they're in man and zone, pattern matching, etc. The same problem happened with Gunther when Gunther had that amazing, complicated defense that he was bringing over from
Good point.
Cincinnati, the one that he developed with Mike Zimmer.
Good point.
I mean, our players were playing like they had, like they were playing in sand. They couldn't move because all of a sudden they were checking from this, checking from that. Will Compton and his Bussing with the Boys podcast, he played linebacker for us a few games. We picked him off the street. And he mentioned that in Gunther's defense on third down, he had never, by the way, I think he was already like a 7 or 8 year veteran at that point. He had never experienced so many calls on third down. As a middle linebacker, when you have the green dot and you're trying to call the right play, why complicate things? You got to simplify things so these players could play fast, execute, run fast, and get the job done.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed like Corey Littleton looked completely lost out there under that defense.
Oh yeah, he was completely lost. Yeah.
Abram
And then
had some trouble too.
For sure. And then they moved Lamarcus Joyner from safety to a nickel corner, and he just couldn't play there. They completely changed his position, and then he leaves to the Jets and says, "Hey, I was never a nickel corner. I was always a safety." I mean, just a bunch of boneheaded decisions. I mean, I go down the list, getting Trent Brown, and then Trent Brown literally, playing like 15 games for us and us handing him over like $40 million. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
And Joyner helped them win the game last week against Detroit. If you
did.
Saw that.
Yeah, he did. It seems like these players end up playing better once they leave.
Facing last year, I can't. Oh, what's that corner? He went to the Packers, got a pick six. That we picked up as a free agent late.
Right, and I know which one you're talking about, but he had a good season for sure. But yeah, it's happened throughout the years. Even letting go of like Shelby Harris, for instance, when he was part of the team, he's made a great career out of himself. Or even just the way that we gutted our offensive line. I mean, we had the best center in the entire league, and we decided to ship him out. And Rodney Hudson.
I see Albert Wilson went to the Ravens when you guys let him go. He's over there. I was like, that was sort of weird. The Raiders didn't keep him because I thought he was he'd go up and get some balls. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but he's also 30 years old too. He's bounced around the league. Nobody actually wanted him. So, I mean, he was with Miami. He was with Minnesota.
I don't think No, not Albert Wilson. I'm talking about DeMarcus Robinson, Ravens.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise for me. I talked about that, him getting cut. I envisioned him like the way the Chiefs used him, as like that fourth option. He's going to be single covered, kind of mid to deep inside, pretty good hands. I know he was a pain in the butt to us when he was with the Chiefs, but
right.
I don't know.
I think what ended up happening there, champion, was just Mac Hollins. I think just beat him in camp. It was one of those things, and Mac Hollins could play special teams. He's one of the best gunners in the league. So I think the coaching staff thought, hey, you know what? I keep Mac Hollins, who's a stud on special teams, and then he's coming along as a receiver, and I just don't have a space for DeMarcus Robinson.
And just cut him early to help him out, I guess.
Right.
On with the other team. So we got some stuff in the chat here. Sorry for abandoning the chat here a little bit. Yeah, let's see. Who farted on this channel? Because it stinks.
Me.
Who's who's Miguel? That's funny. Yeah. What are you contributing here?
Sorry.
Probably little to nothing. Let's see. Jeff Garrison says simplify things as was why Bradley came in. The Raiders as an organization has been mismanaged since 2002 when Al traded Gruden in the first place. Yeah, you could say that. Bill Callahan, I'm maybe going to mention that. My problem with Bradley was beginning of the season. We got a lot of pressure on the quarterback and no blitzing. The front four did a really good job, but over the course of the season, we didn't get that same pressure. And he did not adjust. It was just, we're not going to blitz, we're not going to blitz, we're not going to blitz. And subsequently, we started getting burned on the defensive side of the ball because we couldn't get to the quarterback as well as we did in the beginning of the season. Also, the red zone defense was atrocious. It was disgusting. Honestly, it's not much better right now. Something I'm gonna keep harping on this. I mean, it kind of upset me. That was one of the things that upset me about last week's game. We gave up too many points in the red zone to Denver, which their offense stinks, quite frankly. And if we play that way against the Chiefs, they're just going to get touchdowns every single time. We're not going to be able to catch up. So let's see what else. Jeff also said
The name of the game.
When we lost Musgrave, we were doomed. Gruden gutted the team to avoid a Tony Dungy situation that screwed us. I don't know. Some people have a conspiracy that Gruden came back to destroy the team because Al treated him badly after the Tuck Rule game, traded him. I don't know about that. I mean, it looks worse on Gruden than it does the team, to be honest with you, because everybody knows he was kind of in charge of personnel, even though we had Mike Mayock. You know, he had all that money and those draft picks. I mean, especially in the first couple of rounds. I mean, Mullen's gone, Arnett's gone, Abrams wasn't extended, Jacobs wasn't extended, Cleve Farrell wasn't extended. You can't miss. I mean, we could have had Devin White, who had a hell of a run in the playoffs a couple seasons ago. Could very well been like a playoff MVP on the defensive side when Tampa won the Super Bowl. But we got Cleve Farrell, a guy who definitely wasn't a fourth overall pick. And, you know, both him and Mayock were saying, well, Farrell and Nick Bosa are right there. They're right even. No, they're not. No, they're not. Sorry. You know, and I disagreed with that when it happened, and it just proved itself out. Now, I like Cleve Farrell. I like him against the run, but he's not an elite NFL player. And too many reaches, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, without stating the obvious, champion, we have, you know, two of our first round picks in 2020. Our two first round picks aren't even on the roster anymore with Arnett and Ruggs.
And Alex Leatherwood last year.
Yeah, you should have went to go get a quarterback.
Oh, and Alex Leatherwood last year as well, in 2021.
Yeah, Leatherwood.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's been a tough situation, but in some ways, though, or just looking at some of the players that we have, although Mayock and Gruden had a ton of misses, they were able to identify some young players and build a core around them. Renfro, Crosby, some of those folks. So in some ways, despite all of their misses, they were able to find the right guys, and especially in the later rounds, in the mid to later rounds. I mean, we could talk about Hobbs in the fifth round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, finding that guy. And for some reason, which is one of the, you know, anomalies of being a Raider fan, they just couldn't hit in the higher picks, in the higher rounds, but in the mid to late rounds, they were able to hit.
Yeah, I used to joke that the old regime would pick second and third rounders in the first round and vice versa. So it was weird. It was weird that way. I couldn't explain it. You know, for every one of those though, there's the first round of picks. There's also like Lynn Bowden Jr. didn't really catch on.
Oh yeah, it was so bizarre. Yeah.
Brian Edwards. I mean, it was a third round pick, but I'm not. I want to say he didn't get the opportunity, but then they tried to give him the opportunity, and he just didn't get the job done. It is what it is. So.
Yeah, there was that
Hey, I
Clemson
gotta go.
safety. I'll see you, Hefe. There was the
Just take it.
Clemson safety. Take care, man.
See you
There
later,
was
man.
the Clemson safety that we converted to linebacker, who's now with the Seahawks. I forget his name, champion, but he was also a reach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember him. I'm trying to look him up, but he was a third-round pick. Let me see. Let me look
Tanner
him up.
Muse.
Oh, it's Tanner Muse, exactly. Tanner Muse.
And it was funny that I was doing that was 2 off seasons ago, and the off season they were hyping him up and they were talking him up. He's so great, and then they cut him. And it was like, what? That was the old
Yeah,
regime.
I think they called him, like the special teams, like War Daddy or whatever, and he was going to lead the special teams. But apparently, the guy had no clue how to play linebacker. I mean, same with Lynn Bowden. He was like an option quarterback at Kentucky. He was like wide receiver, quarterback, running back, and they wanted to make him a running back. It was just like a lot for these young players, especially in a COVID year, to try to switch them up in terms of position. And yeah. I blame Mayock for that. But it is what it is. It was great chatting with you, champion. I'll look for you next week. Yep. Always a great show listening to you. I think you have great insight. Keep this up. I'm going to spread the word amongst the Raider faithful, and let them know that the Raider champion has a good channel here.
Oh, thank you very much. I do appreciate that, and thanks for coming on. And with that, we're probably going to close that. We're an hour and a half in. Time flies when you're having fun. But yeah, I appreciate you coming in. You bring a lot to the table, and that's what I'm seeing. A lot of Raider fans have a lot of insight, and it's very good. And I've been looking for a way to channel that better, and I think this will do it. On the TikTok side, though, I'm going to need to do something. They're not be able to hear you speak. So let's see. I do appreciate you guys coming out here, and we're going to end this, but I want to let you guys know, thank you guys for coming out. I do appreciate you guys coming out. I do appreciate the chat. Even Hefe, he's respectful. I know he likes to troll some channels. It's all in good fun though, and I do appreciate that. Thank you once again, Al's Ghost, for coming in. And again, I'll be using this again. I'm gonna have to do something for the TikTok folks down here. I do apologize for that. I'm gonna have to find a way so you can also hear the other people when we do the question and answer segment. You can also come in as well. I did put the link, so hopefully we can get that going as well. Again, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, why not subscribe? We're doing all this stuff. We're going to be chatting live. I can bring up to 6 people in here, and if that gets going, I mean, how many people can you talk at once? But I want to hear your opinion. I know some people just like to put it in chat. That's great. I know others like to talk about it too, and I do appreciate that as well. Take a look at our final voting here. Overall, it looks like about 50-50 to 75% as far as our chances on Monday night. I think that's probably fair. It's going to be tough. Obviously, like I said before, it's going to be a tough road to hoe with this team. But I want to see some effort. I want to see them put everything out on the line. If we fall short to a team like this, then do so. But let's not make the bonehead mistakes, either on the field or in the coaching aspects. Let's not do the onside kick nonsense. And in all this, let's not turn the ball over. Let's not have bonehead penalties. Let's play a good game. And, I think we do have a chance to win. It's going to be tough. I was super confident with the Denver game. Aside from doing stupid things, we had that one locked up. Because Denver's offense is terrible. But this Chiefs is a juggernaut, and they've built it right. They've rebuilt the offensive line, like I said before. This isn't the same offensive line that got destroyed in the Super Bowl against Tampa. They built that front four up. They've moved Jones back inside like they should have done all along. I think they still have some deficiencies in the secondary, and especially at corner that we can exploit. And of course, we need to run the ball more so than we did the first 3 games, have more of a balanced attack. And I will see you guys Monday Monday evening about 6:30. It's about an hour and a half, 6:45. I'll set it up. We'll do a halftime report for about 10 or 15 minutes. Then we'll do the full game review, and we'll have the chat room set up for Tuesday. Hopefully I can get the TikTok side locked down. Of course, this is beta. It's the first time we've done it. I tried testing a little bit. So far, so good, but a few more bugs, especially on the TikTok side. Let's see. Everybody on the same page. You're right, Jeff. Everybody's got to be on the same page. So with that, thank you guys for coming out. I do appreciate you guys coming out. And as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the years?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.